Rivals of Ixalan is a strange beast and the last of its kind. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, and welcome to my Rivals of Ixalan booster box product analysis. Now, as I said, this is a strange creature. So, before we get into the normal things we would talk about in analysis, let's talk about why this set is different. Alright, Wizards of the Coast over time has used a block structure in terms of set creation. Originally, it was, way back in the day there was no such thing, but when they first instituted block policy, it was essentially one large set followed by two smaller sets. Now, after a while, they abolished the third set in the chain, the second smaller set, because they found that set to essentially be the bastard child. And it did not have a place. It wouldn't do well. They couldn't really introduce new mechanics in it. They couldn't be fleshed out that well. So it didn't really fit in. You had the first set where you introduce everything, the second set where you expand upon it, and the third set where you go, huh? And it doesn't have its own identity. But then after they axed the third set, what they found out was that problem still persisted. It just now was focused mainly on the second set. So you'd have a big set and a little set. But now the little set had to expand on the mechanics, and it still wasn't enough to feel like enough on its own and just didn't get the attention. People didn't like it as much. So Wizards decided what they would do was switch to a model where each block will be represented in a different world and will be a sole set. Now, every once in a while, they will do two sets on the same world if they feel like the world needs it, but they're not going to be connected the way that sets were anymore. It's just going to be one big set at a time, not big, little, big, little. But obviously, to make that transition, there had to be a point where a set was falling to be the last one. And that's what Rivals of Ixalan is. It's the final, smaller add-on set to go with the bigger set. And it really, really shows here, guys. You know how if you work a job, most people on the last day they're working the job, they're not going to be working too hard because they don't care anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Well, the small set kind of got that treatment. It really, there are a number of problems with it. There are a massive amount of reprints in this set, including 4 that are specifically from Ixalan. Just write the set right before it. And then something like a dozen more reprints. And we're not talking good reprints. We're just talking about a bunch of shoved in stuff. And the set is smaller than normal as well. So you've got a set that's less than 200 cards. It has a bunch of reprints shoved in. So these are the different factors compared to previous sets. Now, we'll get into the normal issues. So we're going to be using the following metrics. A booster box, basically, you buy a booster box at pack cost by dividing the cost of the box by the number of packs. We're going to be using a factor of $4, okay? Because we're using Canadian pricing here, because that's where I am. So $4 per pack is how much you're spending. Now, if you have not seen, or you have seen, the top 15 most valuable cards from Rival of Ixalan video that I did, and you can check that out afterwards if you want to know which cards they are. If you haven't seen that, or you have seen it, then just bear in mind that there are only 15 cards that are worth $6 or more in the set currently, including obviously a bunch of mythics. Now, these are using pre-release prices, and pre-release prices are generally highly inflated, okay? They're generally a lot higher than what they will settle down to be. So even upon the set's release, those pre-release prices will drop because the pre-release prices are held by all the single sellers who want to be able to get the maximum money, but then when everyone has availability and people can just be buying boxes, they want the singles to sell, so they have to actually drop it down to what is a more reasonable price. So you have to bear that in mind, and keep in mind that the top 15 cards in this set top out at $16. The range is 6 to 16. That's starting at the super inflated value. That will go downwards. So there is not much value in the set. That is something you need to bear in mind if you're someone who cares about value, all right? Now, in terms of card quality, it has not gotten better. In fact, it seems like they have come up with new ways to make errors. I saw all kinds of errors at the pre-release and in a few packs that I've opened personally. I've gotten numerous reports of all kinds of errors at the pre-release. There are really horrendous ones that you can see online where some of the double face cards in places like Spain have the wrong backsides on the double face cards. They did fix the issue with the anti-counterfeiting measure in the middle of the cards, but as you can see right now, card quality at Wizards of the Coast is an absolute shit show. So that's another mark against this set. It's lazily put together. It has a lot of reprints. The card quality is abysmal. You have to keep all that in mind. There's not a lot of cards that people are going to be chasing after, so it's not a set that's going to be worth buying to hold for the long term, because the only way that the boxes you buy will be going up in time, I should say going up over value in time, is if there is some kind of breakout card for standard, or more importantly, modern, hidden in these boxes. If there's one of those, the possibility could happen where a lot of people don't buy boxes of this. There's not that much in circulation, and as a result, when something hits, it spikes the price because everybody all of a sudden wants to start buying it, right? So that could possibly happen, but is highly unlikely. Looking at the set, it doesn't seem like it has any overly busted runaway cards. I could be wrong. I haven't scrutinized it to a crazy degree. I did just look over the set to get the impressions that I needed for this video. So in those regards, now let's also be fair on the other side. There are certain people who collect, like if you're buying a box to draft with your friends or whatever and you don't care about card quality, that's not going to be nearly as much of an issue for you. So these factors, you have to weigh them against other things, like how much fun do you personally have opening a box? Are you someone who uses a box for exploration of the set? Because if you don't look at spoilers and you open a box and explore the cards that way, and the card quality issues aren't going to bother you, then it's still a worthwhile prospect. So there is that to balance it out. But with this set, the money isn't there, the card quality isn't there, the care isn't put into the set. It seems like it's a really lazily slapped together set with some big flashy dinosaurs shoved in to make you not pay attention. That really is how it feels to me. So with this particular product, I mean, it's not advisable. My opinion is, don't buy the box. Just pick up singles that you want from the set. That way you can avoid multiple issues. You can avoid things like obviously not getting the cards that you don't want to be getting out of booster packs. You know, I mean, if you don't get the cards you want out of a box, then what was the point in the first place? Buying singles means you're going to get the cards specifically that you want. You're going to avoid any kind of card quality issues because the sellers are going to sell you the cards that aren't all messed up. So it fixes that as well. Now, if you're somebody who is a collector or, you know, one of those other niche players, then by all means get a box. I'm saying that there are a number of factors against it. I'm not saying never get a box, but this is a terrible product. This is one of the worst sets they've ever made, and they've put so little effort into it, and it's incredibly obvious. And I believe that it is unwise to reward this sort of sloppy laziness with your money. That's what they're doing it for, right? They made this as a product, and they're trumpeting it out just like they would every single other product as if it's just as good, and they didn't put in the effort. So it's a lazy, sloppy set. It doesn't have much potential for you to even keep the money that you're putting into it, let alone get a return on it if that's something you care about. If you're getting them for play value, the card quality is not good, the cards aren't going to last. So this is a big fat thumbs down, do not buy it. So thanks for coming by, and later today, we'll have a live stream where I open that mystery mail back there. See you later.
Together, we are the sixth color of magic.
We the best magic!